Welcome to the Flow Season 3. I'm Deli P. We got Linda Diane over here, and we have Nicole. Say hi, Nicole.
Hi.
And within this episode, I just want to kind of throw out some topics. And the first one that I would like to introduce is really the subject of strong female leads. I think what's been very important to us is to have women represented in a variety of media types, in a variety of real world places. So we want, women be top execs at company. We want women of color to be present and everywhere. We want kind of the world, both in media and outside of it, to reflect kind of how we feel and, what we are. And what I've been finding is that there have been a lot of great shows with a lot of really strong female leads. Agent Carter, we got this new iZombie show, and even more movies are being introduced. And I'm actually having a really hard time convincing my guy friends that these are worthwhile movies or shows for them to get invested in. Do you guys experience something similar? Or
I think the struggle, at least in my observations, the struggle right now is like, well, why does it matter? Why is it important to make it a female lead? Like, I've heard the argument that, like, well, how do you know that a person is qualified to do such a thing? Well, like, we're so conditioned to seeing film and television and leads in a certain way that it's hard to break it down. Like, I remember having a conversation about the movie Annie. The conversation was like, it doesn't make sense for me to, like, why change the movie so drastically? And I was like, but it's not changing the story so drastically, and Pavandjane is such a great actress, and the movie was cute.
I didn't see Annie, and I didn't want to see Annie. And I didn't want to see it because, like, I'm a huge fan of the original movie, and so it's not necessarily that I didn't want to see an Annie who was someone other than a white girl from fucking the Great Depression. I'm all for updating Annie, but I'm not all for updating the music. Although if someone was like, let's go see Annie, I'd be like, yeah, 100%. It's very important. It's important to support these things. It's important to, at least give it a shot.
I feel like that conversation makes more sense to me to have about, like, a remake of a film rather than, like, who we're casting for the remake of the film.
What other instances have you had difficulty, like, hey guys, this is wonderful, and people are like, no, because, like, this person isn't supposed to be black, or this person isn't supposed to be a woman, or why do the women need to be included in this? It's not canon.
Oh, there's that article.
Which one?
That recently came out from Deadline. I remember she was talking about how ethnic the 2015... Like, I mean, like, if we're gonna be so... That's so, like, what the hell did this woman, like, think? Why did she bring this up? And, like, it's that conversation. I know she was making the argument that, like, we should go for talent, but who's to say that the people that were casted aren't talented? Like...
At one point she says that African Americans are only 13% of the population, and then implying that they should only be 13% of the representation on TV. And there's just too much fucking blackness on TV right now. It's like, yo, fuck you.
Fuck you.
For her and for many people, the norm is white television. So, like, white males, white females, certain body type, and this disruptance amongst our TV schedules has really screwed her life and everyone around her, because it makes it seem like, oh wait, there are other people here, and there are other people who have different stories to tell.
It's very much the world we live in. These are people in stories that exist in the world that touch lives. Like, Jane the Virgin is one, and I really like it because it is very much in the style of telenovelas as they exist, but put into kind of an American context. And another show that I really like, and I feel like gets no love and should be getting so much more love, is actually Cristela.
Yes. Yeah.
It tackles, like, class, it talks about race, it talks about, like, family dynamics in a multi-generational home. It's, like, struggling to choose between your career and, like, your family obligation. There's just so much there that I think a lot of people can relate to, as well as talking about what it's like to be a brown person. And I think they're in Texas. It's just like, I love this and there should be more of it. And it's like, how dare you say that we can't have more of this, because these are real stories happening right now. So, like, I want more of this, and I also want, kind of on the along the vein of Cristela, like, she isn't, like, physically speaking, she looks like somebody I know, everybody I know. But as far as television, physically, she doesn't look like a lot of, like, the lead actresses that you see. And I want to see more of that. Like, I was really heartbroken when Super Fun Night was canceled because, like, one, Rebel Wilson is hilarious and the show is really funny. But also, it's just like, we're seeing a lot fewer, you know, at one point we had a little bit more, but now we're back down to women of different bodies and shapes being seen on television.
Let's continue with the size issue, because right now
Yeah.
the only person on TV who identifies as a woman and is larger is Melissa McCarthy as Mike and Molly. And
sorry to cut you off, but I think Mike and Molly, the premise is that these two people, I got to catch up on a flight, so I did see a few episodes, is that these two people met at, I want to say, like an Eaters Anonymous meeting. So, like, a lot of who they are is very much based around their size and their relationship to food and how that relates to their emotional anxiety. But it feels like it's played more for jokes than it is to make that kind of how people really relate to those things. I just feel like, you know, maybe it isn't the best approach to take, considering that these are the only two kind of people representing larger people on TV.
It's like the whole storyline revolves around eating or weight, you know. So the same way that I feel that Jane the Virgin and Cristela have kind of brought in a different perspective of Latinos on television, I would like to see a similar play on just plus-size people on television. I don't necessarily think it needs to be like, oh, by the way, and she's fat. It just needs to be, oh, Sally Joe over there who is running a cookie shop and she has troubles. Like, let's explore that, you know? We're just like everyone else. We just happen to have a little more adipose on our bodies, and that's cool.
Cindy Kaling writes Mindy Lahiri for the Mindy Lahiri Project like that too. Like, she'll just put in little like no, I can't because I'm super hot, or like, you know, put out little antics where she's just a shit, and like, I think she makes people think, like, I don't know, I think she's beautiful, but, you know, I think she definitely breaks down like what conventionally beautiful is.
Relating back to your original point about the fact that sometimes you have to convince men to pick up stories with major female characters, I feel like maybe we're going along the same vein where these stories aren't being told, maybe because as an industry people think that we don't want to see these stories.
Women, like men, like all persons of all genders, sexes, whatever, like anything that resonates with them. I think that we have been conditioned to take on the male gaze. Like, we've been conditioned to accept that as the default when we watch movies or shows, that we don't notice that, like, oh, I'm seeing it through this perspective. And we fail to see that the perspective is always male. I definitely agree with what you're saying there, where it's just like, no one wants to see those stories because we've been doing just fine without them all this time. So the quote, you know, be the change you wish to see in the world, I would like to modify that and just create the change you wish to see in the world. And by create, I mean like in media. So, you know, create more shit, tell your stories. More voices is better than none.
Yeah, share your voice and be open to have a conversation, even if it's uncomfortable or if someone doesn't agree with you. I guess definitely, like, if a person is disagreeing with you just to disagree, walk away. It's not a conversation. You're hitting a brick wall. But if you do find somebody who does want to have a conversation that's like, that has a different opinion than you, like, that's so enriching, and it may be uncomfortable. You may not even you probably won't even agree with them by the end of it, but just having that conversation and just like planting that seed in each other to maybe expand their ideas might make everything a little less uncomfortable.
Thanks for watching The Flow. If you like what you see, comment down below and let us know what else you'd like us to discuss for you. And give us a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe and like us on Facebook. Thank you.
Muchas.